All right, Jess. What was your first impression of Natalie, and what do you think is your first impression, her first impression of you?
Mind you, when I met her, I had first gotten home from my mission, and my first impression of her was, wow, I would never date someone like her. I think she'll tell you the same thing. And I think her first impression of me was just that I was really quiet, really reserved. And as soon as I got out of my weird mission mode, like, that totally changed. So.
All right. Tell us about your first date.
That's a hard question, because my perception of our first date and her perception of our first date are very different, because I invited her to lunch all the time. But like our first official date, according to both of us, is definitely going to be the Kenny Chesney concert. We went to JCW's in Lehigh, and then we went to the USANA Amphitheater, and we went and saw Old Dominion and Kenny Chesney. So it was really fun. I enjoyed it. She thought for sure that there was no way that I was interested, and that was the day that I was like, wow, she's definitely interested. And so very different perspectives on that.
Awesome. What do you think makes you guys a good couple?
Ooh. I think there's a couple of things. One of them is we're really good at, well, we're getting better at communicating. And I think that's part of what makes us really good, is we always have like this thing where we just want to be better, both of us. And so we do a really good job of pushing each other to be better. And I think that that's part of what makes us a great couple, is the fact that we just always want to be better every day. So.
All right, tell us what your favorite thing to do on dates is.
My favorite thing to do on dates?
Date nights.
We always go get food, so I don't know if that counts. Probably my favorite thing, I love it when we go on walks. I love it when we just go places, because it just gives us a chance to talk, and she's fun to talk to, and that's the best part, is when we can do it somewhere that's not one of our apartments or just chilling somewhere. So it's nice to go on walks. I think that's my favorite part.
All right, tell us about your first kiss.
My first kiss?
With her.
Like the story? Oh,
yeah.
With Natalie? I was like, I don't want to go back to high school. It's a really funny story. We had been like, I had taken her to lunch so many times and couldn't figure out whether or not she was interested in me. And one day after work, I was just like, hey, I gotta go run some errands, you wanna come with? So we went to Siegel Book to go pick up some stuff for one of my other friends got married, and mom had asked me to go pick up a gift for him. And so I like picked up the picture, and I drove her back to her apartment, and we sat in the parking lot for probably 40 minutes just talking. And then finally she just went into her apartment, and I went to drive away. And I was like, you know what, this is dumb. Like, we've been spending so much time around each other, pretty much spending almost every waking moment of the day around each other, and nothing's happening. And so I called her, I was like, hey, can you come back out here? I need to ask you something. And she came back out, and she was all nervous, I could tell. And I just asked her, I was like, so is this a thing? Like, you and I, are we a thing? And she was like, do you want it to be a thing? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, okay. And then we just kind of sat there for a minute, and I was like, is it okay if I kiss you? She said, sure. And so I kissed her, and we were both like shaking, because it was so weird to go from like just kind of hanging out, being really good friends, and like both of us being really interested in the other person, but not really knowing how each other felt. And So yeah, that was the way that it worked. It was kind of fun.
Awesome. All right. Who's the better cook and why?
Definitely Natalie, like hands down, not even a question. Her dad did a really good job of teaching her how to cook. She can make white sauces from scratch. She does biscuits, English scones that are amazing. Yeah, hands down by far. Because whenever she cooks, it's always really good food and like fairly healthy for you. And whenever I cook, it's like I cooked some meat on a plate. Here you go, and that's normally what we eat. So she's definitely a better cook than I am.
Awesome. All right. When or how did you know that she was the one?
I knew that she was the one just by I remember it was one night that we were just kind of sitting around and just because of what we were talking about. Like, it had been probably 3 months that we had been dating, and we still had like really meaningful conversations just about like the gospel and some other things and just about life in general. And I remember sitting and going like, yeah, I really don't want to be with anyone else ever again. Like, and it probably a month after that was when we had like the first conversation about, do we see this going somewhere? But I remember having conversations with her and just thinking like, I just really don't want to have conversations with it like this with anyone else. Like, I'm done. I'm sold. This is me.
Cool. All right. What is your favorite thing about Natalie?
My favorite thing about Natalie, other than the fact that she's a really good cook, she is so good at loving people. She is so good at loving and serving and making people feel important. And especially at the point in my life where I was when we started dating, she helped me a ton, and then not only helped me, but she was helping like everybody else that I ever saw her in contact with. And it was amazing to me to see that in her, just the fact that she was so focused on other people. So that's my favorite thing about her.
Awesome. Is there anything that you would like to tell or say to your fiance?
Ooh. Should have prepared a speech for this. Probably just that I could never thank you enough for the things that you've done for me. The way that you've changed my life, the way that you've changed me as a person, the way that you've helped me to stop thinking about myself so much. It's changed me who I am as a person, and because of that, I don't know if I could ever be grateful enough for the things that she's done for me. I want her to know that I love her, and I will love her the rest of my life and for the rest of eternity. The things that I've learned with her and the things that I've learned because of her, I will cherish and treasure the rest of my life. And I can't wait to grow old with you and to become great with you. And I know that it's part of our destiny is to do that together. And I just want you to know that I love you, I care about you, and you mean the world to me.